Ani buju gakina. My name is Suri Labin. Asawe zagaigan anake bimatizawanan. This is my vision for a sustainable future for the seventh generation. Gita Anjatun. Change starts with you. Ani buju gakina. Nani buwikwe dishnikash makwan dudem gete gete ganing unjaba. As an Anishinaabe, this visioning is personal for me, as our stories, teachings, and ceremonies over time have always instructed us to live with the land, not on it. I have a responsibility to carry those teachings forward and imagine a world where my grandchildren's grandchildren can drink clean water, speak our language, and live in balance with all of creation. This project is my way of honoring that responsibility. So for this slide, I decided to go with personal photos taken from my camera drive. In the top left-hand corner, you will see my son sitting all indigenous-like at Black Rocks looking out at Lake Superior. In the top right-hand corner, you will see my mishamis, my grandfather, and my uncle out harvesting wild rice, which is the beginning process of the entire harvest. In the bottom left-hand corner, you will see my three children accompanied by one of their friends holding signs as before we did our awareness walk to really get out the native vote and encourage our tribal members and our people to get their voices back and understand their roles in the political process. Um, so the signs, they just say protecting our treaty rights. Voting means for us to protect those rights and give our voices back. We're exercising those rights, and then vote to protect tribal sovereignty. In the bottom right-hand corner, you will see my son parching the wild rice, or manuman, which is the second step. Actually, no, it's not the second step, but it is a step before you get to the storage process of the wild rice. Honorable harvest. Jimino Bimosean. To walk along in a good way. As Anishinaabe people, we are taught to walk gently and with gratitude. The concept of the honorable harvest reminds us that every being, plant, animal, water, and earth is a relative, not a resource. Robin Wall Kimmerer describes the honorable harvest as a way of living that acknowledges the gifts of the earth while also emphasizing responsibility. We don't just take, we ask, we listen, and we give back. It's about reciprocity and respect. You can see this reflected in our traditional practices, like the ones shown in these photos. Whether we are harvesting manuman, picking berries, or hunting for food, each of these actions begins with a prayer and an offering of a sema, which is tobacco, to honor the spirit of the being we are in relationship with. By following these teachings, we move through life in a good way. Jimeno Bimosean, and we strengthen our connection not just to the land, but to each other. So for this slide, I did decide to use two personal photos from my camera drive. In the middle, you will see a photo of berry salad, which contains raspberries, strawberries, blueberries, and blackberries, and manuman, mixed in with maple sugar and maple syrup. Just a heads up, you do have to share. Unless you do make it at home, it is a 3-day process, and it did take a while for me to get the recipe passed down for my mishamis. In the bottom left-hand corner, again, you will see my mishamis and my uncle harvesting the wild rice. In the top left corner, you will see a father and a son, or an adult and a child out spearing. In which usually in our traditions or in our culture, when we spear, we also do it to give back to the community, to our elders, to those who can't get out and do the spearing for themselves. Um, and then in the top right corner, you will see someone who was out hunting. And this, with our tradition, usually a kid who goes out hunting and gets their first deer, they are not allowed to keep the venison. They have to um, give out the venison meat, every part of the deer, to the community, our elders, and family. In the bottom right corner, you will see Robin Wall Kimmerer out in the forest, which I thought was a beautiful photo to depict um, the things that she was saying and braiding sweetgrass while just being in gratitude with the land. So, for the democracy of species, it reminds us that as Anishinaabe people, we are not above the natural world, we are a part of it. Every being has a voice and a role, and our survival depends on maintaining balance and respect among all forms of life. In Chapter 10 of the Mishomis book, it describes how Gitchimanidu gave us a system to live in harmony with each other and with the earth. This is the clan system, which represents a form of governance rooted in responsibility, identity, and interdependence. Each clan has a purpose. The Crane and Loon clans are leaders balancing each other in decision making. Fish clan members are the intellectuals and philosophers, with the turtle being the chief. Bear clan members serve as protectors and medicine people. The martens are our warriors and providers. Deer are known for their gentleness, and bird clan members often serve as spiritual leaders and messengers. This system reflects the values of the democracy of species. Everyone has a role. No one is more important than the other, and even animals, birds, and plants are considered relatives, not resources. So, understanding and honoring this system is key to creating a sustainable future rooted in Indigenous knowledge. So, for this slide, over to the right, you will see an Ojibwe clan system reference chart, which presents the clans, their names, their subclans, their colors, and the quality that they carry. Wawena Jibimatizuin, the Seven Grandfathers Teachings. The Seven Grandfather Teachings are the heart of Anishinaabe values. They guide how we live in balance with each other, with the land, and with ourselves. These teachings are more than words. They are practices that shape our relationships and responsibilities. Each teaching is connected to a way of being. Nibwakawin, wisdom. We are taught to cherish knowledge, not just for ourselves, but to share it and recognize that all living things, from the trees to the smallest insect, have something to teach us. Zage Idawin, love. To know love is to know peace. Love is seeing the good in others even when it's hard. It's the foundation of peace and healing. Manadin Dimawin, respect. We show respect by honoring all creation, recognizing that every being has a spirit and purpose. Akode Iwin, bravery. We face life's challenges with courage even when it's difficult. It reminds us to speak truth and protect what matters. Goekwa Dizawin, honesty. Be truthful with yourself and others. It's about living with integrity and walking your talk. The Bod Din Dizawin, humility. We are only a small part of the web of life. This teaching keeps us grounded and reminds us not to act out of ego. Dave Wen, truth. Truth is living all the other teachings fully. It's walking in a way that reflects what we know to be right in our hearts. Together, these teachings form Wawenaje Bimadizuin, a full and good life. When we live by them, we honor our ancestors, protect our communities, and prepare the way for future generations. And so for the photo in this slide, I decided to go with this as the turtle being the chief, and there being 7 teachings. I just felt that it was a beautiful representation before going into detail what each teaching is. Decolonizing democracy. In Anishinaabe culture, democracy isn't about voting. It's about listening. It's about shared responsibility and honoring everyone's voice. Elders, youth, women, and even non-human beings. Leadership isn't something you win. It's something you earn through wisdom, humility, and service to the community. Traditional Anishinaabe governance uses practices like the circle process, where everyone has an equal place and decisions are made through consensus, not competition. This fosters deep respect for others' perspectives and, most importantly, for the land itself. Values like respect, humility, and truth shape the way decisions are made. Leaders are accountable not just to the community, but to the natural world. In this way, Indigenous democracy challenges Western systems that rely on rigid hierarchies and top down power. Instead, it creates a more balanced, sustainable way of governing, one that is deeply rooted in relationships and the well being of future generations. Indaso, Gijik, Gaabu, Jitun, Gegi Gedoanana. So for this slide, The title means to use our language every day, which is a vision of the future that is rooted in language, culture, and reconnection. So what does the future look like? 150 to 200 years, I see a world where Indigenous knowledge isn't just included, it's leading. Our communities live in balance with the earth, guided by ancestral teachings, and clean water flows freely, protected as a sacred relative. Anishinaabe is spoken in homes, schools, and ceremonies, becoming the heartbeat of who we are, restoring identity and healing spirit. We learn from elders, from the land, from animals and the seasons. Our education is rooted in experience, not just textbooks. Communities grow their own food, use traditional medicines, and govern themselves through collective leadership, where everyone has a voice. The seven grandfather teachings, love, respect, bravery, honesty, humility, wisdom, and truth, aren't just teachings we talk about. They are the way we live, guiding every decision that we make. So, what makes this future possible? Our people never forgot who they were. They remembered their responsibilities to the land and each other. So, through ceremony, storytelling, and resistance, we held on, and the land responded. The strength of our ancestors carried us forward. That's what makes this vision not only possible, but powerful. So in this slide, again, I decided to use two personal photos. In the top the top left corner, you will see my oldest son, who is smudging our home with a feather that was gifted to him. And since our shell was broken, we had to compromise and use a bowl. In the top right corner is a photo I took when I was in Marquette. This is by the lighthouse, just looking out at Lake Superior. And in the bottom is Indigenous people and Anishinaabe Ojibwe people replanting, harvesting the medicines and vegetables, fruits. But I just thought this photo at the bottom was a great representation of showing how this vision or what this vision looks like in the future. Rooted in tradition, guided by the earth. This vision of the future is deeply rooted in tradition. Our elders and knowledge keepers continue to guide us through sacred oral teachings, showing us how to live in balance with the earth. Our communities thrive by practicing traditional food systems, like Three Sisters gardening, wild rice harvesting, and sustainable fishing. We gather medicines with respect, always beginning with a prayer, an offering of a sema, and asking for permission, following the principles of the honorable harvest. Ceremonies like seasonal feasts, water walks, and sweat lodges help restore harmony and keep us spiritually grounded. Our children grow up learning from both elders and modern science, combining teachings passed down for generations with new ways of thinking. We rise with the sun, speak our language, and begin each day with purpose, placing tobacco on the earth, thanking her, and committing ourselves to care for her. Every action is filled with intention, reciprocity, and gratitude. This is how we create a future that is not only sustainable, but sacred. So for this slide, I decided to use photos that were a beautiful and perfect representation. So in the middle, you will see a circle with the four sacred medicines around it, which are cedar, sweetgrass, sage, and tobacco. In the top right corner is a knowledge keeper, a storyteller, but someone who is teaching the language. In the bottom right corner was a photo that I used from a dear friend, a relative, who I felt created a extraordinary way to be able to reach the youth, as far as like the three sisters and the story or teaching behind that. Plus Care Bears. I mean, that was a personal favorite of mine growing up. So from resistance to resurgence, this slide is honoring both the struggle and the strength of our people. Each image in this slide tells a story, not just of resistance, but of resurgence. Starting on the top left, you will see hashtag no DAPL, excuse me, the Standing Rock Movement. This wasn't just a protest, it was a prayer, a gathering of nations who came together to protect water, land, and future generations. The words on the image, for those who have no voice and those yet to be born, remind us who we're standing for. Just below that, you will see images of burning oil infrastructure, a symbol of what happens when extractive industries disregard indigenous sovereignty. However, right next to it in the bottom center is an image of children holding a banner that says, "We are water." That is where our power lies, in the youth, the next generation of water protectors. The aerial photos in the center show the scars left by pipelines like Line 3 and Line 5, reminders of what we're standing up against. But in contrast, we see a vibrant beadwork piece or pattern with the medicine wheel in the center and images of ceremony and regalia on the right. These represent resurgence, our culture not only surviving, but thriving. At the bottom right, a community celebration shows people dancing, reconnecting with the language and the land. This is what the future looks like when we rise together. From resistance to the front lines to the quiet strength of cultural revitalization, every act of protection is also an act of renewal. This is how we move forward, from resistance to resurgence, with love, ceremony, and vision. Anin, Eje Ayayang, Min Nawa, Eje Gekinu, Amaguyang. This is who we are, and this is how we learn and teach. Living the vision from small circles to global movements. Nibe gabe maje ewe magak. Nibe mino bebantizuan gebish zoyang. Water gives life. Water is a path to a good life. This vision for the future starts in small circles and ripples outward, just like water. At the small scale, within families and communities, we see people planting medicine gardens, speaking in Anishinaabe Moen at home, telling stories, and making decisions together. These everyday actions are powerful. They carry culture forward and reconnect us with the land. At the medium scale, tribal nations reclaim sovereignty through self-government, tribal schools, and indigenous colleges. These institutions center indigenous science, history, and leadership, creating space where knowledge can thrive on our own terms. At the large scale, environmental policy and global systems are shifting. There is growing recognition that indigenous leadership is key to solving global crises. Water, climate, and species are no longer seen just through economic lenses, but through a relational one where the earth is treated as a relative, not a resource. So why does cultural scale matter? Well, because stories, ceremonies, and language help shape not just individuals, but systems. They help the world reimagine what it means to live responsibly. Our culture is not just surviving, it's shaping the future. This is how we live the vision, from small acts at home to global movements for justice and healing. Mi saga eje bima diziyang. Mi saga eje nanan dawain damang nibe. As we live, so must we care for the water. This phrase reminds us that our way of life, our choices, teachings, and movements must all reflect our sacred relationship with water. It honors both the small daily acts and the global responsibilities that we carry. For the children yet to come, we remember. Guaya Kowadizawan, Guaya Kwadizawan Gaye. Live with integrity and righteousness. This vision transcends a mere school project for me. It embodies my identity and everything I am as an Anishinaabe Kwe, and underscores the deep responsibilities I embrace. Our ancestors imparted invaluable teachings that remind us water is life, the land is sacred, and every decision we make must honor the next 7 generations. In the book We Are Water Protectors, the young girl boldly proclaims, I take a stand to protect our water. This powerful spirit resonates in our communities today, and it resides within me. This project is my profound commitment to honoring that calling, to safeguard, to remember, and to envision a future where Anishinaabe traditions not only endure, but lead the way forward. By returning to the principles of the honorable harvest, the 7 grandfathers, and Anishinaabe democracy, we can transition from a mindset of extraction to one of profound connection. This is not just a vision, it is our inherent responsibility, and it is one that I wholeheartedly embrace. And that about wraps up my presentation. Chi Miigwech for sitting with me and allowing me to present this to you. I hope you all have a good rest of your semester. Giga Wababin Nagach.
Yeah.